This is where we got our start in Saigon. We're gonna show you the first jiu-jitsu club that we trained at. Now, my income is not tied to being somewhere anymore. So why limit myself? Yo, what's going on, guys? We are in District 3 in our old neighborhood. We're gonna do a walk from where we first landed in Saigon to our second apartment. Both are within District 3, so we're gonna kind of show you guys what the city center looks like during the lockdown. And we're gonna go down memory lane a bit and show you some of the first steps that we took here in Saigon. Hope you enjoy the walk. Hey guys, so this is the Saigon LeBlanc Hotel. When we first came to Saigon over 4 years ago, this was the first place we stayed down this alleyway. It was really tricky to find it, but it was a really nice little hotel, very clean, very cool area, very local. I highly suggest if you're coming out to Saigon, you check out the Saigon LeBlanc. Really, really decent little accommodation, and it's not surrounded by like bars or seedy nightlife. It's a real nice, chill local neighborhood. The people are really cool. This is where we got our start in Saigon. So when we first got here, guys, this is the area we were living in. This is District 3. We found a place over here. It was a vegetarian restaurant that we literally were eating at like 2-3 times a day. Back then we didn't know how to pronounce kum chai. We were calling it kum che. No wonder nobody had a fucking clue what we were talking about. This is gonna be fun for us. We're hoping we don't get caught up in the rain. But it's nice to kind of walk through and see how things have changed since we lived over here. It's really been pretty amazing living in Saigon for 4 years. We've watched the city change so much. We've been able to do so much with our lives in terms of starting a business and just personal growth. Even with all the chaos happening now, I still think Saigon is a really good place. And I still think it offers a lot of opportunity. I guess we're all gonna have to see how all this plays out, but there will always be a place in my heart for this city. I'm just kind of grateful that we're not in a situation like a lot of other people having to rush out of here. We can kind of take our time, get ourselves all set up and planned and go on our own terms. And I'm pretty happy that we were able to do it that way. My sympathy goes out to those of you who are having to rush out. I know that's an unfortunate situation. We're gonna do the best we can to help people who are still trying to come to Vietnam. We can help people find jobs. We've been able to help quite a few people find jobs so they haven't been thrown out. So, all we can really do is work with what we got. We're gonna go show you guys the first apartment we used to live at. So this was the alley. We ended up renting like not even a block or so from the original hotel. This was the first alleyway we lived on. There's been a few changes. There's a Highland Coffee at the corner now. Before it was a mini stop.
It was perfect because we already knew the area, so it's quite convenient.
Yeah, it was really familiar to us. There was a little Vietnamese style Italian restaurant that used to be here. Now it looks like it's a healthy corner. The school's still here. We lived Oh, Hem Spaghetti. Okay, yeah, they're still here. And oh, that's cool. The school we used to live right next to is still here. So we're gonna show you guys the first apartment we stayed at here in Saigon. We were renting it, this hotel here. It looks like it's closed, but I can at least show you guys the building. This was the first place that we had for ourselves. It was a pretty good little introduction to Saigon. All right, guys, so we are on Winden Chu. It's one of the main roads in District 3, goes all the way into District 1. We're gonna cut over towards the kind of nicer side of District 3, the Villa side. This is by our old jiu-jitsu club. So we're gonna show you the first jiu-jitsu club that we trained at. I don't know if we're gonna be able to go inside the complex, but we'll go have a look. It's basically in a bone hospital, and on the second floor, the guy who was running the club had turned this big open room into a training facility. It had mats and stuff. The bathrooms and showers were pretty primitive, but it was good training, and we made some really good friends, and we made a lot of really strong Vietnamese relationships. So we're gonna show you guys that as well. There used to be a woman over here who made sandwiches. She may be gone. She was on the other side here. Looks like she's gone. That's quite sad. We used to get sandwiches every day from her. So when we first got here, we were mispronouncing the vegetarian restaurant that we were eating at, and we were eating at her place also. Those were kind of our two main spots until we sort of figured out how to get groceries and how to do things. You know, it took a little while. The pagoda here, or temple here, I'm not sure what you would class this as. You guys can tell me. I think it's probably a shrine. That's still here. They've cut down some of the trees, and across the street is the monument for the monk from the Vietnam War, the very iconic monk that set himself on fire to protest the treatment of Buddhists during the war. So this is a very iconic monument, a very beautiful monument, and it's definitely a landmark. So you know you're in District 3 when you see this, because it's kind of hard to miss it. It's actually a very beautiful little tribute. District 3 is a great neighborhood. It's a lot more local than District 1, but it's still very much the center, very centrally located. So we'll take a walk over and kind of take you guys in our footsteps for our first year or so here. So yeah, guys, this was our original stomping ground, District 3. This is where we learned Vietnam in many ways, like kind of like just trial and error and figuring things out as we went. Definitely will always have a lot of love for this area. It's bittersweet leaving. To be honest, guys, I'm a little bit bored. I'm kind of really looking to challenge myself and do something different. It's a bit sad because I will always love Saigon, and I will always love Vietnam. I still think Vietnam's a great place to come, and I still intend to help people navigate coming here. I just think it's time for a change. You know, unfortunately, a lot of people got caught up in this. We're lucky that we didn't, but you know, guys, we lived in Southeast Asia for a pretty long time. We lived in Southeast Asia for on and off pretty much almost for close to a decade now. And you know, we were in Bangkok when they had the coup. We were in Bangkok right after the bombing. So, you know, we've been through some interesting times here. We were in Malaysia during serious protests. We were in Nepal after the earthquake. You know, and it's just kind of like you kind of have to learn how to read the situation. And I think if you're coming here and you're just intending to work, then it still makes sense, you know? But if you're in a position like me where you're not really needing to work, it kind of sort of makes sense for me to start branching out a bit. Like I said, you know, my income is not tied to being somewhere anymore. So why limit myself? You know, Vietnam will never let you naturalize. You're never going to be one of them. You're never going to be a citizen. And, you know, even if you play by the rules, sometimes it's not necessarily going to work out. So I just would feel much more secure in a position in a country where maybe I could eventually get residency or naturalize. If I needed to come and make some money and start doing something for myself, I think Vietnam's hard to beat. It's a lot more chill than China. Salaries are much higher than Thailand and Cambodia. I still think it's a fantastic destination for someone trying to work. But I think for someone trying to work online or live long term or do a full relocation for their lives, their families, retirement, I think they've kind of, you know, they've set the stage that maybe this is not going to be the place for that.
Hey guys, what's going on? So we're still going through the old neighborhood. Brings back a lot of memories of when we used to live here and how it's like super convenient. I mean, right now because of COVID, it's not that busy, but usually this entire street here is filled with motorbikes, like bumper to bumper. There's a lot of lights on this street as well, so we would always be getting stuck at these lights and having to wait for all the traffic and stuff. Now we're kind of heading toward where our old jiu-jitsu club used to be. But it's kind of sad. Like, a lot of the businesses we used to go to, now they're closed. So it's a little sad. Oh, this veggie restaurant's still here.
And it's crazy, guys, because this is a weekday. This is the middle of the week right now.
Yeah, usually even this road is pretty busy during the week.
And there's just nobody around, you know?
But now it's totally dead.
Yeah, it's a bit sad. It's, you know, this pandemic has really caused a lot of problems all over the world. A lot of uncertainty. So this is towards the old neighborhood. We lived on this side as well. The original place we had landed was over there where we shown you in the beginning of the video, but we lived in this area for quite a while too. This is the side of District 3 that has all the villas and embassies and just lots and lots of cool old buildings. So it's kind of wild for us to be walking around over here and just reminiscing, especially as we're looking to move on. Yeah, I guess it's a bit of a bummer, guys. Like, you know, we kind of were planning to leave soon. We were just kind of hoping that, you know, either Cambodia or Thailand would open up and we were going to start to do a lot of content for Cambodia because we're extending our services into Cambodia and China now. But it looks like that's going to be on hold for a bit. And even getting out of Vietnam at the moment seems like it might be a little bit difficult. We are working on it. Again, we're in a good position because we don't really have to rush. Like, if it were to be difficult to get out at this point, we could just sit and wait. I mean, our TRCs are good until next year. And if we really had to, we could just keep renewing them with our company. But I don't know, guys. Like I said, I'm always going to love Saigon, but I'm really just ready for something new. Kind of looking to challenge myself. I'm looking to expand the business. You know, I feel like we've done a lot here, and I'm happy that we did, but I'm really up for some new challenges as well. I think, you know, it's kind of easy to get stuck in Saigon. That's why you have so many fucking losers that end up here, guys, because it's just so easy to get by. You know, and I think that that's a good thing in some ways. It gives you time to build something. It gives you time to do something for yourself. But I think it's also a bad way because it just, not a bad way, but like a bad thing, because it kind of does allow for like real parasites to be here for long periods of times. And you can really see it in the expat groups. I mean, just some real despicable scumbags. Like, I'm in expat groups all over the world, guys. I'm in expat groups for pretty much every place because, you know, my business is expat relocation. So, you know, it's a hard one. I do love Vietnam and I do love Saigon, but when I look at other expat groups around the world, they're nowhere near as fucked up as out here. I would say probably the worst next to here is Cambodia. Thailand's pretty bad as well. But really, any place where it's too easy for foreigners just to be here, you know, it really does sort of attract a real bottom feeder. You know, and I don't want to disparage anybody. I don't want you to think that all the expats here are like that. They're not. There's some absolutely wonderful people here, very inspiring. That woman who does the animal rescue, a bunch of my friends who've come here and started businesses. I mean, there's some really great expats here, but there is some real, like, just fucking despicable slimeball characters lurking around. And who knows, you know, maybe all this visa craziness will kind of get rid of some of that, you know, but it's kind of hard to predict because it seems like it's swept up a lot of good people as well. I mean, listen, guys, if they were just purging all the sexpats out of the city, then, you know, I guess I wouldn't really give a shit if it was just like, you know, getting rid of people who aren't contributing to the society. But, you know, I mean, there's been a lot of retirees. There's been people who've lived here for years and they're getting swept up in this. So, yeah, the whole situation's very unfortunate. For myself, I think it's time to move on. And like I said in my previous video where we were walking around, I just kind of feel like, guys, like, you know, I was waiting for this pandemic to end, and then I'm like, oh, I'm going to head over to Cambo and start documenting Cambodia. But I'm starting to suspect that this is never going to end. I'm starting to think that this is just going to be part of what life is now. So how long do I sit and wait, you know? Do I just keep waiting and keep imagining that one day this is going to be over? Or do I start kind of trying to create the stuff for myself while I'm still young enough to do it that I've been wanting to do? So Misha and I are kind of going towards, you know, let's just go for it. Let's keep working on what we're trying to do. We're trying to build this expat relocation service in a number of different places all over the world, you know. And I mean, what can you do? You just can't hide in Vietnam and hope that one day the pandemic ends, because there's a really good possibility it may never end. You know, so for us, I think it's going to be time to make a move. I don't know how soon. We're going to do our best to try to figure out a way to get to where we're going. But if it looks like it's too difficult, like I said, we're not in an emergency where we need to rush. You know, we're in a good spot. Our visa's in a good spot. So we're going to try to get out of here. But if it looks like it's difficult, we'll hang tight. We'll keep you guys in the loop, of course. Again, I'm not going to reveal where we're thinking about going. I'm going to leave that as a surprise. But, you know, like I said, no regrets, guys. Coming to Vietnam, living here for the last 4 years, this has been one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. So we lived over here, kind of in this area, right after we moved from where we first showed you. We're not quite by the old house, but we're back in the neighborhood. This part of District 3, there isn't very much in terms of shopping. It's very spread out. It's mostly villas, consulates, but we're gonna go show you where our old jiu-jitsu club is. Kind of see what's there now. It was in a bone hospital, which is definitely an unusual place for a jiu-jitsu club. Do you remember when we first started coming over to the club?
Yeah, I'm not even sure if the hospital's still there.
Yeah,
We'll
I
have
guess
to see.
we're gonna have to see. I just remember like getting used to Saigon traffic, walking from that first hotel kind of over to where the club itself is, and it was a real adjustment. And now if you look at the streets, there's almost nobody here, so it's pretty empty at the moment. There's not a lot of people around. The good news is there's been no new cases in the last couple days that haven't occurred within quarantine facilities, right?
Yeah.
So at the moment it's only in Saigon, there's only been new cases that are already quarantined.
Already quarantined, or like in a already locked down area. Like they've already locked down the area and they already know about the number of cases there and how many people it's gonna spread to.
Right, so there's been no new community transmissions. It's all been just within the quarantines themselves, right?
In the quarantine or in a quarantine area.
So I mean,
for example, Govap, there was a large outbreak in Govap. So they quarantine a bunch of houses where they think it will pop up, and basically that's where it's popping up. You know what I mean?
well, when the Da Nang first started having the cases in this recent outbreak, they quarantined like 80,000 people. So I have a feeling that this will get nipped in the bud pretty soon.
The number of cases is going down though. Like the number of daily cases in May was like 70 a day, and now it's gone down to like 15 or 20.
And like, you know, a lot of the craziness that's happening is definitely due to this situation. So maybe as things calm down, hopefully the world will calm down a bit. So we're cruising around, still trying to remember where it was because we haven't been over here in a while. So we're kind of trying to figure out how to get into the main entrance of it so we can show you. It's been quite a bit since we've been here, huh?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Like, because the club originally closed and then it splintered into a couple different clubs. Originally it was Saigon Luta Livre, started by this guy named Eric. And then it broke off into two different Saigon Luta Livres. And then one of them changed their name into Saigon Grappling Club, where we still train now. And the other one splintered and kept the name Saigon Luta Livre. And they ended up moving on to District 7. So the streets are pretty empty, guys. I mean, this is definitely, you know, pretty close to a ghost town at the moment. I mean, if you were to compare this to like places like Da Nang, obviously Da Nang is going to seem a lot quieter. But if you guys put into context that this is a weekday, the middle of the day in the city center, District 3 and District 1, for those of you who don't know, are considered the city center. District 1 is probably the more tourist-oriented area, but District 3 has tourist sites as well. The War Museum is in District 3, so this is usually a very high traffic area. There's a lot of corporate offices. There's a lot of, like I said, embassies, consulates, There's a lot of important government buildings. And I feel like I'm walking on a Sunday.
Hey guys, so we found it. This was where our very first jiu-jitsu club in Saigon was, just inside here. It's a bone, I guess it's a bone hospital.
Looks like it's pretty closed. They got guys watching the gate now, but that was where we used to train, guys. That was our original club.
Yeah, on the second floor or something.
It was, yeah, you had to walk up to the second floor, and there was like people on stretchers, and it was a very strange experience.
Yeah.
To be at a Brazilian jiu-jitsu club that happened to also be in a bone hospital. Look, the gym is still here.
Yeah, that's crazy. It looks like they redid this gym too.
They had a fitness gym down here.
Yeah.
So it's a little weird for us to walk through this old neighborhood because we haven't lived here in a while. So like we don't exactly remember where everything was. We got a little turned upside down.
Yeah, we found it though. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's a little sad to leave Saigon, guys, but to be honest, like we were gonna do it anyway. We're kind of like sitting here and saying, oh, well, we're just gonna wait a little bit and hopefully this thing will be over soon.
Well, the whole thing is like we're waiting to expand. So with COVID, it's really hard to know when, you know, when everything's gonna open. Like you just don't know.
And then
you don't know when it's gonna be over.
Is it gonna be over? So look, this is a place that sells like prosthetic limbs and stuff. Again, it's very strange that a jiu-jitsu club was in a place that sells like prosthetics and does surgeries. And...
I got my passport photos there.
Oh,
Kodak Express.
Yeah, show
very
them.
Cheap. I'll show you. I don't know if you could see it. It says Kodak Express.
It's that big yellow building over there. That's where
Yeah.
she got your first passport photos, right?
Yes, for when we were thinking about going to China, I got some passport photos done there. And it was super cheap, and they knew the exact size that it was supposed to be as well. The weird thing was they photoshopped it. Do you remember?
Yeah, they photoshopped her into a suit.
No, they photoshopped my face to be whiter.
To be whiter? When was the one they put you in a suit? I thought that was China.
for my work permit.
Oh, that was for your first work permit.
Yeah, usually they do that for your work permit.
Yeah,
I thought that was crazy. I was like, how can you Photoshop a photo for a visa? Like, doesn't it have to be real? You know?
I guess not.
No, not in Vietnam.
I forgot when you had been photoshopped into a suit, but I remember the incident. I think that was over in District 1.
Yeah, that was D1.
That was in District 1.
That's for the work permit. They want that.
So this is really fun for us because this was literally the street we lived on now.
Yeah, so this whole block used to be shoe shops. Well, this entire ring here.
Zai is shoes, guys.
There's still some shops, but now there's also coffee shop, flower shop. There's other stuff here as well.
That the Paseo, that's a cafe. That's new. That wasn't here.
School right here. That was there.
Yeah, the school was here. So when you see it says G-A-I-Y, it's a shoe spot. So it says like Zaidet. It means like beautiful shoes. And this is our old street, man. It's, you know, we're gonna walk up towards where our second apartment was, and we'll probably culminate around there. So we're kind of going through a little combination of showing you what things look like today, but also memory lane for us. So we are right by the old house now. There's still not a lot of people on the street, and this is one of the craziest roads in Saigon.
Yeah, usually this street is backed up bumper to bumper, taking 10 minutes just to go down because there's a bunch of lights at each corner, and I think they're about 30 seconds long each.
It's one of the most important roads because it connects pretty much the main part of District 3 to Nam Ki Khoi Nhan, which is the road that eventually goes to the airport. So it's a pretty significant artery in central Saigon, and this is a weekday, so to guys give you an indication of how crazy everything is at the moment. Remember I was telling you that Zai is shoes and that this street had all shoe stores. A lot of the shoe stores seem to be gone, but this big one is still here. This is like the, I guess, kind of like the equivalent of like a shoe warehouse in the States. You have things like that. The bookstore is still here.
Yeah, expensive bookstore.
They're still here. So far, oh, there's a bot chin guy. So there's got somebody making bot chin. That's pretty cool. I mean, that wasn't here before. The neighborhood, I guess it does kind of look the same. I think this is new. No, this was here before, the WASS, but it looks different.
Western Australia International School.
I don't think all this AstroTurf was here before. That looks new.
Yeah.
Look, this intersection, guys, is normally a really busy intersection, but at the moment this is like a Sunday. So this is Tran Quoc Tau and Ly Chen Tang. This is normally a really, really hectic intersection.
That hospital there, the blue one, is brand new.
Oh yeah, look, that's all new for sure.
Yeah.
That Agri Bank, that was the first place we opened up an account in Vietnam, right?
Yep.
And just so you know, life hack, guys, Agri Bank doesn't ask too many questions. So if you need to open up an account in Vietnam and you don't have your work permit or anything yet, I would go check out Agri Bank. That's you know, I'm not sure if they're still able to do it, but we were originally able to open up a bank account there before we had any of that stuff. Now we have all that stuff, so everything's just opened up through our companies. They have their own banks that they deal with for their deposits. But that was the original. That was the first place we opened a bank account in Saigon some 3-4 years ago. I'd say the only thing that's really significantly different is the building and the lack of traffic. It is a bit strange, guys. So that's an abandoned villa, and this on this side, I think this is a complex for government workers. That all looks the same. The shoe store, once again, another shoe store, that's still there. Yep, that's still there. That looks basically the same. I don't know what that Viet tourist is, but that's pretty new. I think this is accommodation for government workers, if I remember correctly, but I'm not totally sure. But all this is pretty much the same. Like I said, it's just kind of spooky, kind of like feels like Tet holiday or like a Sunday. This road, guys, is one of the most congested and crazy roads in Saigon during like 5 o'clock, you know? I remember because we lived right on this road. Remember, we could never cross the street.
Yes, and the thing is, this road is straight while you're down there, but then all of a sudden, as you come up here, it starts to curve. So we've seen a lot of accidents over here because of that. The people don't realize that this street curves a bit like a snake at the end here.
Right.
So actually we've seen a lot of really bad accidents over here.
Oh yeah, people would not realize that it was about to curve or that traffic was about to slam on their brakes because there's a light at the end here. So you know, we would definitely see some crashes, and sometimes just crossing the street, because we lived on this side, and crossing the street to go to the Vinmart was like next to impossible.
All right, guys, so I used to walk home this way every day. My school was about, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes. 10 minutes from our old apartment, so I used to walk up here every day. And a lot of these stores have changed. Like that one used to be a cafe we used to go to. quite frequently. This Gouda is pretty new as well.
Looks like, yeah, the Gouda is still here.
This Auto Cafe is still there though.
Still there. Vinmart's still there.
I'm not sure if it's open, but
What about Female Coffee? Are they still here?
a lot of stuff has changed. Like a lot of these businesses were not here. There used to be like a Bat Chin.
Female is still going.
This used to be my favorite coffee shop in the morning, Female Coffee. They were open at 6 a.m. Only from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. But I'm not sure. I mean, the sign's still there, but I'm not sure if it's still going. They do have another actual shop in Govap. They opened a coffee shop there. But yeah, a lot of the stuff is new. That place right there where it says Pho Bo Phu Gia is a famous, really famous soup place. They serve soup and they give you a large piece of, I think it's like a leg or, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a leg of meat. I don't know if it's lamb or chicken or what. We don't eat meat, but a lot of people have told us. There's also another famous restaurant for Mi Quang just around the corner. So there's a lot of famous restaurants in this area.
This is the old street we used to live on, guys. This is our old block, so we're gonna go take a look and see what it looks like. So yeah, this was our old street. This is probably where we lived in Saigon the longest. This is when Michelle first got pneumonia, remember?
Yeah.
And we were working in the public schools. That's why she points out Female Coffee, because that's where she would go every day before the public schools. This was our old little neighborhood. Do you remember, Mish? Remember how long we lived here? It was like more than
long time.
I think like almost 2 years we lived over here.
Yep.
And it still looks pretty much the same. This was our old building, guys. Miss Nya, she was a really, really nice lady. And actually, when I had walking pneumonia, she was the one who took care of me. She took me to her doctor and paid our bills. Wonderfully kind woman.
Hey guys, so it's really nice to come back to our old neighborhood and see all the new businesses and stuff. It's a little bit sad because of COVID, you know, the street's very empty. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the walk and you got to see the first 2 or 3 places that we lived in. Thanks for watching. Brush your face and wash your teeth, son.
Hey, what's up? I'm D from Canada. Hook up with the New York Nomad if you want a smooth ride into Vietnam or any Southeast Asian countries.
Hey, my name is Aaron. Get in contact with the New York Nomads. If you want to get into Vietnam, hit them up. They'll get you in securely and professionally.
Yo, this is Uncle Hollywood. I'm telling you right now, the New York Nomad got me a job. He's legit. Hit him up. Check him out.
New York Nomad set me up in Vietnam.
Yo, my man got me a job. Come to Vietnam.
Hey, what's up, guys? You thinking about coming to Vietnam? You're not sure where to start. You've heard a lot of things online. You don't know what's true. You don't know what's not. We offer a consulting service where we help you get on your feet in Vietnam. We give you advice on negotiating contracts with employers. We help you with real estate agents, visa agents that are reliable and that you can trust. We help you get started in this amazing country and get on your feet. We help you get into different opportunities that might be more difficult for you if you were just landing in the country on your own. And we help you avoid a lot of the pitfalls and problems that you could have as a newcomer here. We provide you with reliable job recruiters, visa agents, real estate agents, and advice. If you guys are thinking about coming to Vietnam, hit us up for a consultation. We'll help you get started, help you get on your feet, and hopefully you'll love Vietnam as much as we do. Are you thinking of living, working, or doing business in Laos? Laos is an incredible country that's often overshadowed by its more well-known neighbors. It's a diverse country with a beautiful landscape and beautiful people. It offers a tremendous amount of opportunity for someone with an open mind. Are you thinking of retiring, working, doing business, or just living in a place where life moves at a different pace? If you're thinking about living and working in Laos or doing any kind of business in Laos, reach out to us on the Facebook fan page because we have the contacts you need to make your transition to Laos smooth. We provide you with contacts for visas, housing, real estate, local fixers, and anything else you might need to get your start in this incredible country.